Stay outside. Those were my mother's first words to me when she slightly opened the door on Easter Sunday. Instead of a hug or a welcome, she just said 3 words that felt like a punch. I was standing there with a bottle of wine and handmade chocolates, wearing a blue shirt she once said brought out the color of my eyes. She wouldn't even look at me now. "You've got to be kidding," I replied. She nervously glanced over her shoulder and then squeezed through the door, as if I were carrying a contagious disease. "You should probably leave today," she whispered. "It's complicated. Oh, Lydia said she wouldn't come if you were here." Of course, my sister was orchestrating everything from inside. I heard laughter from within. My Uncle James held up his glass and announced, "Cheers to some real family time." Then Olivia's voice, sickeningly sweet and loud, added, "Finally, a drama-free holiday." I clenched my jaw but forced a smile, the kind that promises payback. "Fine," I said, already pulling out my phone. "Have a peaceful Easter. But you can kiss my $9,800 goodbye." My mother's confusion was immediate. "What money?" she asked. I met her gaze. "The utilities, water, electricity, internet, all the bills I've been covering every month while Dad gets back on his feet. The good news is they're all in my name, and I just canceled everything." Her face went completely pale. Olivia shrieked, "The Wi-Fi died. What's happening?" "Happy Easter," I said, turning to walk to my car. Behind me, Olivia came out, holding her phone like a weapon. "Are you insane? We're about to eat." I rolled down my window. "Go call your real family. Maybe they can handle next month's bills." Then I drove away. I didn't feel guilty, just relieved. That was the moment I stopped being their personal bank machine and became the ghost they could no longer exploit. For years, I had convinced myself that I was being helpful and that being a responsible family member meant making sacrifices. I lied to myself often, like when Dad called me in the middle of a work meeting. "The power is about to be shut off. Can you take care of it?" "Just until Friday." That Friday never arrived. I paid it without fail anyway. My family had perfected the art of taking without asking, and I had perfected the art of letting them. When Dad lost his job 3 years ago, I started paying the utilities. When Mom needed dental work that wasn't urgent but was for looks, I paid for that too. When Olivia's lease ended, I co-signed and paid for 6 months upfront. At first, it felt good. I was the reliable one, the steady support. But that feeling of admiration transformed into expectation, then into entitlement, and finally, into outright contempt. "You're lucky you don't have kids," Olivia would say with a smirk at dinner. "All that money just sitting there." "You mean the money that's paying for your expenses?" I would retort. "Please," she would scoff. "Don't act like it's charity. You just enjoy feeling superior." She didn't mean it. Mom would begin. "No, she means exactly that," Olivia would interrupt, acting as if they should have to bow down to me for paying a few bills. A few bills. Water at $87 a month, electricity at $210, internet at $89. Plus streaming services, phone bills, and random Amazon purchases. Last month's bank statement showed that I had spent $9,800 over the past year. Yet, I was still seen as the bitter, selfish brother who ruined every family photo. The final straw came a few weeks before. I had stopped by unannounced with groceries and overheard them talking in the kitchen. "He's so high-strung," Olivia laughed. "He thinks paying bills makes him royalty." "He's probably just lonely," my mom added. "He works too much," my dad chimed in. "With all that money and nobody to spend it on, at least he's useful." "I would literally cry if I had to pay my own internet," Olivia giggled. I stood motionless on the porch, the bags of groceries growing heavy in my hands. No one saw me quietly leave. That night, I canceled her Netflix and Disney Plus accounts. The next day, Olivia texted me. Is the Wi-Fi glitching, or did you forget to pay the bill again? I didn't reply. But the real breaking point came 2 months before, when I noticed some strange charges on an emergency credit card I had given my mom. A MacBook, a wellness retreat, designer clothes, all paid with Apple Pay. Did you buy a MacBook? I called her immediately. Oh, that was for Olivia. She needed it for work and the retreat. She was struggling emotionally. She was using my money. Silence. Then, in a soft voice, she said, You have more than all of us combined. It's not like it's hurting you. I hung up the phone. For days, I considered confronting them. Then I remembered Olivia's Thanksgiving speech. We all have our roles. Mine is to be fabulous. Yours is to buy the turkey. Everyone laughed. I just swallowed my pride. But now even the thought of turkey made me sick. Easter was supposed to be different. I had bought gifts for the kids, taken time off work, and made brunch reservations. A week earlier, my mom had texted me. Sweetie, could you settle the utilities before the weekend? Olivia is hosting an egg hunt here. I paid the $385 for their comfort and received no thanks. Then Easter came. I showed up with wine and chocolates, and they shut the door on me. Sitting in my car, I watched their house slowly go dark. The porch lights went out, and the sprinklers stopped. 5 minutes later, Olivia came storming out, waving her phone around. What did you do? She screamed. Enjoy your Easter, I said through my open window. The way you wanted it, without me. I drove away, finally realizing that healing sometimes requires you to cut ties. The call started before I even got home. My mom, dad, and Olivia, my phone buzzed like an angry wasp. I ignored them until a text from my dad made me laugh out loud. You're being dramatic. Come back and fix this. You mean your water, internet, and dysfunction? No thanks, I texted back. 2 hours later, they were at my apartment, banging on the door and shouting, Open up, or we're calling the cops. Olivia shrieked. This is abuse. I opened the door just as she raised her fist, and she almost stumbled inside. Get in, I said in a flat tone. But if anyone yells, I'm calling the police myself. They stormed in. My mom was crying, my dad was pacing, and Olivia was screaming. You think this is funny? We had guests. What's it like explaining to a 5-year-old why the toilets don't flush? Yeah, I said calmly, sitting down. Did you explain that their aunt and uncle expect me to pay for everything? There was a long silence. How dare you? My mom gasped. Family, I said, raising an eyebrow. The same family that banned me for ruining the vibe, that laughed about my usefulness behind my back, and that treated my money like an endless account. You're overreacting, my dad said, stepping forward. No, I'm finally reacting, I replied. Olivia crossed her arms. This doesn't make you powerful. It makes me free, I said. You've always had this superiority complex, she scoffed. You mean the $9,800 I spent last year covering your heat, your therapy sessions, your iPhone, and that fake business trip to Paris that was actually a spa retreat in Palm Springs? Her face went white. You've been spying on me. You used my credit card for plane tickets. I get the statements, genius, I said. My dad tried to change the subject. Look, we've all made mistakes. Some. I cut him off. Dad, you told me I had no place at the table, that Olivia deserved a future more than I did. You said that to my face. I was angry, he mumbled. No, you were honest, I said. Finally, my mom reached out. Sweetheart, we're family. Can we just reset? undo all this. No, I said coldly, because you didn't just exclude me this Easter. You've been excluding me for years. You've been fine taking what you needed, but the second I say no, I'm the villain. Olivia was trembling. You'll regret this. Do you think cutting us off will help? You'll be all alone. Being alone is better than being drained dry by people who smile at me and curse my name when I'm gone, I said. A heavy silence filled the room. I stood up. Here's what happens next. You find other ways to pay for the utilities. You transfer the car lease out of my name within 30 days. You stop using my Netflix, Spotify, and Amazon Prime, or I will lock all the accounts permanently. You wouldn't, my dad started. Try me, I said. And Mom, if you ever try to make me feel guilty with our son talk again, remember this. Sons deserve love, not invoices. My mom sobbed. My dad stared at the floor. Olivia stormed out, slamming the door so hard a picture on the wall tilted. I didn't follow her, didn't try to explain, and didn't attempt to fix anything. For the first time ever, I didn't try to make it better. I locked the door and let out a deep breath. The war was finally over, and I had won. The silence that followed was surreal. No calls, texts, or knocks. It was as if they had collectively erased me. And you know what? It felt incredible. For the first time in years, I woke up without that heavy feeling in my chest, wondering what they would need from me that day. No more anxiety about my bank account. No more fake group chats where they would share memes but ignore my messages. No more guilt-ridden holidays where I bought everyone gifts and received only socks in return. I was free. The quiet was beautiful. I slept better, ate better, and lived better. I bought a used guitar and started learning chords, reconnected with friends from college, and signed up for photography classes, all things I'd always wanted to do but never had the time, energy, or mental space for. Every dollar I earned was spent on me. My rent, my groceries, my future. At first, it felt selfish, but then it felt fair, and then it just felt right. A week later, Olivia posted a dramatic Instagram story with a black background and white text. Some people abandon you when you need them most, but God sees everything and karma is real. I took a screenshot of it to laugh at later. A few days after that, my dad called. After 5 rings, he left a voicemail. Your mom is upset. Olivia is talking about selling her car. I don't know why you're doing this, but it's gone too far. We're family. Call us. I didn't call. Instead, I emailed Olivia the car lease transfer forms. The subject line read, You're welcome. The deadline was 14 days. Then came a surprise. My cousin's wife, Kelly, reached out. She had witnessed the Easter scene, standing quietly while Olivia cursed and my mom acted like I had committed a murder. Her late-night message said, I know this might be strange, but I wanted to thank you. I've never seen anyone in this family stand up for themselves like that. Honestly, it made me realize how they treat people. You didn't deserve that. I hope you're doing okay. I stared at the message. Someone had seen it. Someone had finally seen me. I texted back, I'm better than okay. For the first time in forever. Of course, peace never lasts in my family. 2 weeks later, I found a letter taped to my apartment door. There was no return address. It was a handwritten note from my mom. The first line said, We raised you better than this. The last line read, You'll always be our son, even if you've forgotten what that means. I folded it up, threw it in the trash, and went out for tacos. Here's the thing, they will never understand. I didn't forget what family means. They never knew. They thought love was about control, money meant obedience, and silence was the same as agreement. They believed that sacrificing yourself proved loyalty. But I finally knew better. Now, when I walk into my apartment, it's quiet. Not because I am unwanted, but because I want the silence. I light candles, play music, sit by the window, and breathe. Nobody is waiting for me to fail. Nobody is asking for a wire transfer. For the first time, I don't feel like a side character in someone else's story. I feel like the main character in my own. The world didn't end when I told my family I was done. There was no thunder or lightning bolts of regret, just silence and freedom. For a man who had spent his entire life playing the good son, that silence was everything. It wasn't empty, it was peaceful. It wasn't lonely, it was quiet. The kind of quiet that gives you space to hear your own voice again. So here's what I know now. Saying no doesn't make you cruel. Setting boundaries doesn't make you heartless. Walking away from toxic people, even your own blood, isn't betrayal. It's survival. Maybe my name is now cursed at their dinner table. Maybe they'll twist the story and paint me as the villain, ungrateful, cold-hearted. Let them. They're not in my life anymore. My life is finally mine. If you are tired of always giving, forgiving, and sacrificing while they laugh behind your back, let my story be proof. You are allowed to stop. You are allowed to walk away. You are allowed to choose yourself. If they tell you that you are not welcome, say, "Good. I didn't come to be welcome. I came to stop bleeding." Stand tall. Walk out. Never look back. Peace is not something they can give you.